Listen properly.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we are covering a breaking story that is still unfolding. The most dumbass, brain-dead, idiotic move this utterly useless government could have ever pulled against the mightiest nation in the world. There's no picture that better describes what these empty skulls have done than this. So I'm skipping most of my regular features so that we can focus on this developing story instead. However, for many of you who really enjoy the audio excerpts from my books, I've still included the latest excerpt at the end of this episode. So many of you have already heard that South Africa yesterday, on Reconciliation Day, decided to raid a U.S. refugee processing center, detain American staff, and have undoubtedly triggered a diplomatic crisis with consequences that could devastate South Africa. According to Colonel Chris Wyatt, this was no minor incident, and Washington will not ignore it.
We were then ushered in to hand in our folders and lanyards, all the while being filmed without permission by a person in an unmarked vehicle. The officials mocked and intimidated the refugee applicants, saying things like, shame, so many whiteys who are trying to run away to America. The atmosphere was tense and very intimidating. Of course, having handed in all electronic devices when we reached the venue, none of us could record the incident, seek assistance, or clarity until after we had left the premises. We were filmed all the way to our car, and our vehicle details were also recorded. We left to return home to not knowing what happened and how this will affect us. In the underground area, on our way out to our car, we noted the refugees with their pack bags who were obviously scheduled to fly out this evening. We have no way of knowing if the register of applicants was taken from the security at the gate. We have no way of knowing if our family's safety has been further compromised and fear retaliation.
So, this facility was processing refugee applications, including applications from minority South Africans seeking refuge in the United States. The U.S. State Department has confirmed this incident. The South African Embassy in Washington, completely silent. That silence speaks volumes. However, one South African official asked to comment, responded as follows. And no surprise. True to form, the fake South African media, led by the ANC's biggest cheerleaders, Fake News 24, have already tried to put a half-baked spin on the story, with Peter du Toit, one of the ANC's biggest gatgrypers, alleging that the raid was focused on 7 illegal Kenyans working on the program. Okay, well, yeah. The moron probably believes we are all suckers and are going to take him at his word. Freaking idiot. If it was aimed at illegal Kenyans, then why was the main focus of these empty skulls to get hold of the register of names and details of applicants? Professor G, whose channel I diligently follow, summed it up perfectly. Listen to this chilly warning.
It is now clear that the government itself is after you. The government itself is looking to persecute you. That extreme level of conduct that can result in loss of life, liberty, assault, battery, rape, torture, imprisonment. It is clear now the government is actively coming after you as individuals, looking for lists of names, looking for individuals to go after. So now, even more than ever before, exponentially more than ever before, you need to be careful and take care of yourselves. Go look at the comments in my last video. The racist people from South Africa were talking, the racist, and by the way, being anti-Afrikaner, being anti-white is racist. There's no such thing as reverse racism. There's racism. And the comments against Afrikaners and other ethnic minorities in South Africa in my last video are obscene. The racism in South Africa is palpable here against whites, and it's terrifying.
But this wasn't just a raid. U.S. refugee processing falls under American federal authority. You don't simply shuffle into a US run operation, detain American personnel, however briefly, and expect there to be zero consequences. Add to this the fact that the Trump administration has repeatedly raised concerns about the treatment of South Africa's white minority, and suddenly this incident becomes explosive. Colonel Chris Wyatt has already warned that this single action could have tremendous consequences for South Africa. He's not talking about a slap on the wrist. He's talking about targeted US sanctions, economic and trade penalties, visa bans on officials, a collapse in political goodwill, and reduced intelligence and security cooperation.
Did the South African government take the time to run a sting operation to invade the diplomatic security of U.S. diplomatic officials performing official duties under the Vienna Conventions in South Africa? Is that what happened? We know that they did do that, but was there an undercover sting operation with Ferrayas who betrayed the people whose safety is utmost concern? What has happened here today, based on the information available to us, is that the government of South Africa, whether it was intentionally or it was a rogue operation not under the control of Home Affairs or whoever, regardless of who is responsible for this, they have simply confirmed what President Donald Trump has claimed about South Africans suffering from unjust racial discrimination. There can be no doubt about it as these events unfolded today. They are clearly South Africans suffering from unjust racial persecution.
In short, South Africa has crossed the line it cannot uncross. Let's be honest. South Africa is in no position to absorb punishment from the United States. The economy is weak, investor confidence is fragile, unemployment is massive, and international credibility is already in tatters. Sanctions, even limited ones, would hit hard and fast. So, was this incompetence, political grandstanding, or a deliberate act of defiance against Washington? Whatever the answer, the consequences may already be locked in. This story is far from over, and what happens next could permanently reshape US-South Africa relations. I personally can't wait to see what President Trump does in retaliation. To be honest, I can't wait to see what happens next. Interesting times. Please, drop your comment below and tell me what you think about this incident and what you think the consequences may be. And remember, I read every single one, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts. And that's where we'll leave it for now. But the real story is still unfolding, and what's coming next may change everything. If you haven't already liked, shared, and subscribed, please do so, because the next chapter is one you don't want to miss. Okay, now here's a quick reminder. I share a short excerpt from one of my books in every episode. If it leaves you wanting more, you can order a digital copy, a PDF copy of either book by simply emailing me at author.skulk@gmail.com. They're R75 each. That's R200 less than retail, especially for you, or R125 for both, a full R400 less than retail. And I promise you, every cent goes to the animal charity I support. Okay, please remember, if you prefer a printed version, hard copy, just let me know, especially considering it's almost Christmas and it will make a magnificent Christmas gift. Please bear in mind, however, the cost will be a little bit more because of the printing and delivery cost, but just let me know. Special thanks to the 2 viewers who had just today ordered 4 copies. I appreciate it. So, without further ado, here is this week's excerpt from my second book. Until next time, hopefully we'll have further developments on the story. Please keep safe and cheers.
When I returned to my table, I noticed the waitress standing there.
I was afraid you were going to run out on me too. Those jerks ordered pap and steak, and now I'll have to pay for it since it's already been prepared.
She says, visibly upset. I feel sorry for her and come up with an idea. Glancing at her name tag, I say, Jacqueline, how about I take their order to go so you don't have to foot the bill?
Really? You're an angel.
She says, surprising me with a peck on the cheek. I phone Don while waiting for the bill and update him on what happened. Get here ASAP, he barks. I grab the doggy bag as she returns, handing her 4 200 Rand notes.
It's too much.
She shouts. Keep the change, I say, noticing her smile and blow a kiss at me as I quickly exit the parking lot. As I turn the corner at the embassy, I spot an elderly man begging at the traffic light. Beside him, a woman in a wheelchair sits slumped forward, her gaze fixed blankly ahead. The man, his face deeply etched with lines of hardship, clutches a weathered hat for donations, his clothes ragged and stained. He looks exhausted, his posture slumped with the weight of countless struggles. The woman beside him appears equally worn, her presence adding to the somber scene as they both wait for a glimmer of compassion amidst the rush of city life. Shocked at how much he resembles my dad, I instantly feel sorry for them. I grab the doggy bag and a 200 Rand bill and hand them to him.
Thank you, sir.
He says, his face lighting up with gratitude. Overwhelmed by their appreciation, I find myself rebelling against the cruelty and unfairness of this world, where the poor and vulnerable suffer while dishonest human garbage thrives. As I walk into the main entrance, I'm reminded why I lost the last bit of faith I had left a long time ago. I march into Don's office and spot an impressive-looking man in a fancy suit sitting at the table. He instantly reminds me of a young Roger Moore, the very embodiment of a spy. With sharp cheekbones and a confident smile, his striking blue eyes convey both intelligence and charm. His neatly styled dark hair, slightly tousled, adds a touch of effortless sophistication to his handsome features. We shake hands as Don introduces us.
Hunter, at last you get to meet your CIA liaison. This is CIA Agent Larner. Larner is already up to speed. While there's not much we can do to assist our source without risking exposure, I want you to keep Larner in the loop from now on.